Greetings, Enoch Jones here, and this is a blessed day that we have today together. And I have something very important. So, somebody asked me a question, and they asked me a question on how I would define faith. So, the question was, can you help me define faith? So, when a question like that comes, you look at from which angle is the person trying to get the answer from. Because if they just wanted a normal definition, just the usual one, is you would go into the dictionary and you get the definition of faith. But then the best place you would find the definition of faith is in the Bible. Hebrews chapter 11 verses 1. It's one of the most famous scriptures, right? And that's what we're going to use to define what faith is. So Hebrews chapter 11 verses 1 says, faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. So there are two things that I would want us to look at today in defining faith. The first one is the first statement, which says substance of things hoped for. It means faith has an element of hope, right? And then when you try to define what hope is, you will understand that hope is tied to an expectation having a possible mindset of it being accomplished or it being fulfilled. So hope is the energy that is tied to an expectation and knowing that it will happen. So you cannot have hope if there is never an expectation. So it means in faith, there must be an expectation. Then we have the evidence of things not seen. This statement is somehow logically imbalanced. When you look at the logic of it, you cannot have evidence for things that are not seen. But then we'll get to understand what it means. So evidence. What is evidence in this case? So evidence in this case is assurance. Being rest assured that indeed this is true. What is it that you're being assured that is true? What you have seen. And remember, you are using an expectation. So the expectation has given you an ability to see something. And that now which you have seen is having birthed an assurance for you. The other thing that we can tie, or the other word that we can tie to evidence here, is a reality. So your hope has set an expectation. That expectation has made you see something. Maybe about your life, maybe about your business, maybe about your finances. It has made you see something. And now that you've seen what you have seen, you are now having an assurance in your spirit, man. You are having that become your reality. You are guaranteed that it is not just something that is abruptly coming to you, but it is something that is now real. You see, people are liken faith to a title deed. You do not go with a piece of land everywhere you go to show that it's yours, but you can go with a title deed that signifies that you have full authority over that land, that you own that land. That's what faith is. What you hoped for, that has given you an expectation, that has made you see things, that has made you see yourself in the next level of your life, that has made you see yourself in the next level of your business, or maybe the next level of your career. The hope has made you do that. Now you are being assured. It becomes your reality. You walk like it, you talk like it, you behave like it. That's what faith is. So the best definition of faith is a definition from the book of Hebrews chapter 11 verses 1. And we will be answering a lot of questions that a lot of Christians have, as long as we know how to answer it, because there are some questions that I might not answer as of now, because I'm also still getting to learn more about the Lord Jesus. So if you have a question, you can type it in the comment section, and once we are done with all the questions that we have currently, we'll get into those questions and just answer them. Otherwise, this is Enoch Jones, and see you next time.